Today, everybody calls themselves a CEO or a founder. So, what's entrepreneurship? It's a big question that we want to answer. My name is Arutase, and this is a Biztraction Before You Start series. When I started my first business, I wish there were certain things I had known or certain business principles I had known before I started the business. Maybe the business would have survived, right? And I know that there are a lot of entrepreneur and small business owners that are in the same shoes with me when I started many years ago. And that's one of the reasons why this series is important, because it's going to help you or prevent you from making those kind of mistakes, right? So I assume that if you are still interested and you're still watching to this point, you're also interested in knowing some of those basic business principles that can guide you from making some of the mistakes that I made when I started my own business many years ago. But before we can adequately do that, we need to also take care of some of the misconceptions that people that want to start businesses have. And in this video, we would address 3 of those misconceptions. The first misconception that I want to address is that some people feel like, oh, entrepreneurs are born. Some other people argue that entrepreneurs are made, right? So we can look into the definition of who is an entrepreneur. But to be able to do that, there are academic definitions. You can see the academic definition of what an entrepreneur is on your screen. But for me, I want to generalize that saying to say entrepreneurs are people who are willing to take risk and see that risk through to the point whereby it either becomes successful or it also becomes a learning point for them to be able to learn from those mistakes and then add that into their journey of building a successful business. So in that instance, that tells us that entrepreneurs are people who are willing to continuously learn from whatever process that they are going through, right? So that means that entrepreneurs are neither born, but most probably they are often made, because the learning process that they go through on day-to-day life experiences, challenges, solving those challenges, and then just moving up from some of those experiences helps them to build a better business. I was listening to Dangote some time ago, talked about the fact that when they were doing their refinery process, some of the challenges that they were going through, if they had known before they started, they probably would not have started. And I laughed to myself, because that's what entrepreneurship is, or that for me is a perfect definition of entrepreneurship, because it's a journey where when you start, you encounter certain challenges and then you're able to solve those challenges. The ones you cannot solve, you learn from there and you keep building the businesses from there. That does not make you to back down. So there's nobody that came from the skies with all of the knowledge that they need to be able to build a sustainable or a profitable business. Another thing I would also want us to address, which is the second myth of entrepreneurship, is that people say, oh, I want to start my own business because I want to have an easy life. I want to live the baby boy life, baby girl life, or whatever it is, right? I feel you. And me too, I probably also need to have a good life. I probably should be vacationing somewhere in the Bahamas and all of those good things. But except you have a very successful business, entrepreneurship is not like that. And as an entrepreneur, you need to have that reality of some of the facts about businesses, because for a couple of years when you start your business, there are a lot of challenges that you are going to face. In some small scale businesses, you are probably going to be the customer care rep, you are going to be the marketer, you are going to be the human resource person, like you're going to be everything in the business. So that automatically means that you likely not have time for yourself. You'll probably be spending more than 9 to 5, because you have to do everything that the business requires to be able to grow. Even for large scale organizations, there is still the issue where the more you grow, the more you need to protect, because now you have a brand name that you need to protect. You have a lot of overhead costs that are waiting for you. And so you need to be able to grow the business to generate more revenue so that that business will be sustainable. So it takes a while for you to not have that easy life that comes with entrepreneurship, having built maybe a mega multi-million business or multi-million naira business, and then you cannot say, oh, once in a while I can enjoy the perks of entrepreneurship. Having dealt with that, the third myth of entrepreneurship and who entrepreneurs are is that entrepreneurs want to be their own boss, and which is good. Like, there's nothing wrong about wanting to control everything around you. I have that same feeling when I started. I wanted to be able to control everything. But then you realize that as you're growing a business, you need to be able to set controls to some of the people that will come work with you, because they are going to be helping you to be able to build a business. No man is an island of his own. And that means that certainly you cannot be able to build a mega business all by yourself. You probably need people that would assist you one way or the other. But that comes with its own challenges, because if you're working for a business, for instance, there's somebody who will give you the direction of things to go to do on a day-to-day basis, or probably I've already thought about the overall vision of the company. And so in most cases, all you're doing is you're just doing your day-to-day task, right? But when you become your own boss in entrepreneurship, it's a whole lot different, because now you have to be the one who generates the vision of where is this business going to go, both in terms of the revenue that the business will generate, or do we want this business to generate X amount of money in 5 years? Do we want this business to generate whatever number that you have in your mind within a specific period of time? You need to be able to direct yourself in that regard. Otherwise, you end up coming to a place whereby the business is not, maybe for some reason, not sustainable or not growing, and you do not have the capacity within yourself to be able to do all of that and grow that business to that stage. Now that we've talked about the misconceptions around entrepreneurship and who an entrepreneur is, there's something I would like to also clarify, right? Because in this climb, we find out that there are a lot of people who also go into wanting to start their own businesses just because maybe they are in a stage in their life where, they're looking for jobs, they've finished NYSC and some other things, and then where would the next paycheck come from? And they feel it's just proper for me to start a business. I want to talk about 4 things that you can do as a self-assessment to understand if you are willing to take the entrepreneurship journey. One of the first things I want to talk about is, are you willing to be a risk taker? Yeah, I understand that some of your personality, you might just be a laid-back person. You don't want to put yourself out there. But entrepreneurship requires you to be able to take risk at different points in time. So even though your personality might not support risk-taking, you need to be able to learn how to build that capacity within yourself to be able to take risk. I define entrepreneurship one other way, that it's a continuous and ongoing experiment. So which means that every time you're always trying new things. Maybe today, what works for you in terms of, you're getting your customers from Lagos, and maybe there's a policy in Lagos that just makes those customers stop coming. You need to be able to say, do I take some risks? Do I explore some other new market? And so risk taking is very, very vital. And for me, I would say that's like the foundational thing that you need to be able to assess yourself on as an entrepreneur before you start your business. One of the things I will also talk about is ambition. And this also ties back to the first personality that we've talked about earlier, that especially for introverted people or laid-back people. So that means that you don't have that fire or that drive or that hunger for you to want to go after things. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't come, it doesn't come. Man, that's not going to work when it comes to entrepreneurship, because you need that drive to be able to say, put yourself out there in terms of either going after the customers, after going after partners that will ensure that your business grow, doing everything that it takes to be able to get that business to be able to survive and beat all of the odds and the statistics that say, businesses fail within their first 3 or 5 years, right? You need to have that ambitious spirit and that drive to be able to say, yes, what's it going to take for us to get to maybe 100 million naira business? Okay. How many customers would get us there? Do we have the infrastructure within the business to be able to do all of that? No. Okay. How can we get those infrastructure in place? How can we put all of these things? And that comes from ambition, because laid back people will not want to put in those things. You're just like, qui sera. Whatever happens, right? If we get customers, fine. If we get that partnership deal that we're pushing for, fine. If it doesn't happen, we'll keep running our small business the way it is. No. For you to be able to build a successful, profitable, and sustainable business, you need to have that drive. You need to have that fire in you that puts yourself constantly out there to chase those opportunities and bring them in-house, and then to be able to make that business thrive. I also want to talk about confidence. And this cannot be understated as the third assessment that we're looking out for. is that you have to be confident in your ideas, right? And it's very important because you might have people even within your team that might not have as much faith as you have in those ideas, either your own business ideas or some of the other ideas that you are putting out there to be able to drive the business to grow. But you have to be able to have that confidence to say, oh, if I'm thinking about this idea, can we go all out to say, oh, let's try it out? If it doesn't work, fine. There are always lessons to be able to learn from it, and then you can impute those lessons back into the business and then make that business grow, right? But if you say, oh no, I'm not confident in this idea, so you're not stepping out, you're not taking again the risks that you need to take, or you're not putting out that drive to say, oh, let's go for it, then you end up with either a small business or a small business that is in a declining market that is probably about to die, and then you become part of those statistics that we mentioned earlier. And we don't want that for you, and that's why we're putting out this series of videos to be able to guide you through all of this process. And we have a lot in store, and I want you to be subscribed to the platform so that and turn on your notifications so that you get these videos when we put them out. The final and the fourth thing that I will mention as part of the self-assessment that you need to do is that you need to be adaptable. You need to adapt to different situations. It's just like an umbrella. You need to be able to change your form as you move along, because business is not predictable. Imagine the current situation we're having in our country. Oh, you've built your refinery, and then government policies are affecting it. You need to be able to find how to change form to be able to say, oh, how do I now adapt this business to suit that particular thing that we're doing? There are certain business ideas that you might be passionate about, but the business idea doesn't generate money, or it's in a declining market. That automatically means that you either need to shave it off and look for some new idea that's probably going to drive profitability or drive you to be able to make revenue, right? In that sense, adaptability now comes in, right? So it's in different forms across the life cycle of entrepreneurship. And that's why we've added it as one of the top 4 things that you need to have as part of the self-assessment that you implement for yourself before you start your business. Now that we've talked about who an entrepreneur is, and we've also cleared some of the misconceptions about entrepreneurship, you would also agree with me that one video is not enough to deal with everything about entrepreneurship, right? That's why we'll have more information for you. You can check that on our website, which is on the link in the description of this video. And powerfully, we've also included a checklist that would guide you through all of this process and some more other points we couldn't mention in this video, so that you can have a full-scale assessment of yourself to know if you are ready to take this entrepreneurship journey. And then I would also want to tell you that the next step is that you have to generate worthy business ideas that could help you build a profitable and sustainable business. And in our next video, that's just what we'll give to you: how to generate business ideas, profitable ones, Don't forget, this is Biztraction, and we're here to help your business grow. Bye-bye.